You're offered $30 million to sell your idea. Will you take it? Like, dash me your idea and go and do something. Just go and enjoy your money.
Okay,
Will you take it?
Have I already said this business idea, or the person who is offering me this money doesn't know what the idea
you've
is?
already like sold yourself to let's say I am Elon Musk. You just sold yourself to me, and I'm like, I see potential, and in my head I'm thinking, let me take this guy's idea, like turning in something for myself, and I'm like, you know what? Let me pay you 30 million for your idea. Will you take it? Yes or no? I want a straight answer.
No, I won't.
Welcome to the Idea Game Changer podcast, where innovation meets ambition. I am Dearest Mba. Today, we are thrilled to introduce a young entrepreneur who is rewriting the rules and pushing boundaries with groundbreaking ideas. In this episode, we'll dive deep into their journey, uncovering the inspiration behind his unique vision and bold step he's taken to disrupt the industry. Get ready for a conversation that's all about turning dreams into reality and changing the game in ways you won't expect. Stay tuned as we explore the world of entrepreneurship and innovation through the eyes of someone making the waves, right here on the Game Changer podcast. On that note, I'll be introducing my guest for today. He's an entrepreneur. But let me read a little bit about him before I introduce him. All right. He's the co-founder of Alugoke Accelerated Innovations, a pioneering project management company harnessing space technology via AI for Earth's applications. With an evolving entrepreneurial upbringing and strong academic background in engineering and management technology, this person has evolved into a seasoned innovation management technologist with a proven track record of driving 100+ edge-to-edge entrepreneurship development. He has established himself as a strategic leader with a unique ability to collaborate cross-functionally across industries. His expertise spans C-level management, innovation, strategy, and field-based technology project management, with a focus on leveraging AI to drive sustainable growth. Apart from being a visionary, entrepreneur, and innovation expert, he's committed to accelerating indigenous innovations, especially in agriculture, and driving positive impact through effective local partnership. And who is my guest? He's none other than Bamiyo Dada Olaoye. Good afternoon, Bamiyo.
Good afternoon, dearest, and good afternoon, viewers. It's a great opportunity to be here today.
Yeah, lovely to have you on the show today. So where do we start? Let me start simple. Let's start with the easy question.
All right. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Bamiyo.
Okay, like we had earlier, my name is Bamiyo Dada, from a humble background. My dad, more of an educated and engineering person. My mom, on the other hand, uneducated and only woman. The full housewife package. Yeah. So that gives me a balanced orientation to life, home and work, like the work-life balance.
All right.
That's more about me.
You want to tell us more, a little bit, just more?
Okay, yeah. The opening remarks caught my attention. It's very deep to me because you said ambition meets innovation.
Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, I would say finding myself in Nigeria or being born in Nigeria, like many of us, we didn't choose it, but we just grew up here. Yeah, I had different ambitions. When I was much younger, I had different ambitions. I had different expectations from my family, different expectations from the government and of myself. But as time goes on, I think we had to adjust, from applying to a school to study something. JAM did not give you admission, so you have to, all of that. So I would say innovation and ambition are still on a parallel line here in Nigeria, but it's not anyone's fault. We just don't have to leave it that way.
I love that. So you talked about the government. I'm guessing they are the reason why we have so many young minds now thinking outside the box, trying to excel for themselves in different industries. So it brings me to my very first question. What motivated all of this? And how did it all start?
Okay, first of all, I am a better man today because of failure. I was doing all fine until I failed, and then I realized that I had to do more for myself, not really for the people I was initially trying to impress. But when we talk about technology, entrepreneurship, or science, basically, there are three pillars that make up every advancement in a sane society: that the academia, industry, and governance. So these three pillars make up everything there is about innovation, entrepreneurship, and science. So here in Nigeria, like we all know, the industry is taking the lead because a lot of people are doing wonderful things. Most of the people you hear doing amazing things. The guys that built OP, the guys that built floater wave, I don't know, a lot of guys are doing well from the industry. Well, I don't know if we have had any names from government. Maybe the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, the Minister for Communication, Digital Economy, and some other great establishments like NASDRA, Galaxy Backbone, and the likes. They're doing fine in governance. But academia, project topics, just to pass the course and get done with school, go for NYC. Yeah, so I would say industry is taking the lead in terms of innovation, science, and technology. Governance is coming behind. But academia still has a long way to go in Nigeria, from my little opinion. I'm sure there will be a lot of work being done in the background, but no, it's not having any impact yet.
Fair enough. So when did this all start? Was it in school? Were you in school thinking about it, or just like every I want to say normal, but every student in school thinking, oh, I'm going to be graduating soon, I'll go for my service, get a good job, right? And start my life. So that's like everybody's like mindset when you go to school. Oh, I'm going to go to school, come out in flying colors, go for service, come out, get a job, maybe get married, start a life. So for you, what was it? Was there something that was it like a nudge in your heart? You just felt like, no, I cannot just settle for that life? Or was it more like something that happened in your life? Or will I say from background, maybe your upbringing, was there an experience, or was this somebody that really inspired you to go into all of this?
Yep, the latter. Somebody definitely inspired me to go into all of this. And the same person was responsible for a lot of the decisions that was made in my earlier years that positioned me to be an entrepreneur. I think you mentioned that earlier in my bio. My dad, I owe him a whole lot of everything I am today, from positioning to actually taking the step. You said a lot of people have this default system of go to school, get a job, get married. Yeah, I'm sorry, in my own case, or in our case, I'm speaking for my siblings and I had it different because we had a father whose orientation was different. He started from working, then starting his own company, and eventually consulting and being a business owner. So, and at the time I was born, my dad was already 50 years old, so I'm sure he had all of his plans out before I came into the picture. But yeah, he played a lot of important factor in positioning me for entrepreneurship. But because I could recall while I was much younger, there was a certain toy. I'm just trying to give a glimpse into how my father thinks before I now answer the main question. I have two male siblings who the first one is like 7 or 8 years ahead of me. He was born 10 years or 7 years ahead of me. Then my next sibling was born like 5 years ahead of me before I came out here. So yeah, there was this particular toy, like a bicycle, when I was young, like 3 years old. Yeah, and you hear stuff from my dad like, your elder brother used this bike, your brother used this bike, so you also use it, you won't spoil it, you're going to hand it over to a younger sibling and all of that. So yeah, that's the kind of pattern we had. Also, my immediate elder brother happens to be in the medical field. So probably when he was in 200 level and the academic result was going down, disciplinarian father, family, we had a home like this morning devotion after prayer. We had a family meeting, and you could hear Dad saying something like, when this son gets done at the medical school, I'm going to convert that my property to an hospital so that he can have an hospital. So yeah, that was like even though it eventually never happened, but at that point, the 200 level medical student, knowing at the back of his mind that his father could someday give him a fully built hospital, it was kind of inspiring for him as at that point. But in my own case, I never taught the medical line. I never taught the geology line like my elder siblings. I was more into engineering. My first higher education was telecommunication engineering, and then I went to FUTA for transport management technology. Yeah. So I've been more into engineering and management. So it's already entrepreneurship on its own. But my dad's nudging every point of the time kept reminding me the fact that I'm not looking for a job when I'm done with school. I'm probably going to take over from his company, or he's going to set me up in another line, something like that. So I had all that at the back of my mind 10 years ago. While writing JAM, I already knew that worst come to worst, I'm going to probably be heading one of my dad's
companies.
Maybe, yeah, it could even be a small aspect, even if it's a car wash, for example. If as a student I could go home during the holiday or during the weekend to where I have a car wash and I'm a supervisor or a car wash owner, I have more money to go back to school. I'm not desperately trying to read second class lower as if you don't do. So far I know that there is a future waiting for me here. I'm only using the smallest and minimalist example in order not to sound vague and all of that. Yeah, but I realize that a lot of people lose it from that stage of final secondary school, SS3 to 100 level, yeah, because they just get lost somehow. But if, for example, you could be assured of a future as at that time, I'm sure a majority of people would even cancel the route they took. Why go to school to study engineering when you know your uncle can take you to Canada to be a doctor? So yeah, not having these assurances of the future make a lot of people to just pursue the popular things and all of that. But such is life.
You said a lot. Yeah. So you talked about your father being your biggest motivation and inspiration.
Yeah, influence, yeah.
And influence at the same time. Yeah. But do you have other role models?
Yes.
You know, definitely. People you looked up to, people who have done great things in life, in society, or maybe even in your school or community or among your friends. People that you've looked up to for the longest time and you feel like, oh, if this person is doing this, why can't I, Bamiyo, do the same?
Yeah, in order not to sound too stupid,
okay.
I would say first my original love some 7-8 years ago was Elon Musk, but as at that time it wasn't into what we all know him to be doing today. Apart from Elon Musk, there is also a man, Mr. Bamiyo Dada Olaoye, who has entrusted a lot of respect and dignity for me, has given me a lot of money to try to do something. I remember I called him out of the blues, and he was asking. He used to know me when I was a copper. So as at the time I was a copper in Zamfara State. I had a shop running. So most people call me Megari because there's this agricultural produce shop that we sell. I get the products from North Central, Kogi, Ekiti, Kwara State and sell in Zamfara through a lot of possibilities that made my price come down, even though the quality was good. Yeah. But as at that time, I met a man who believed so much in me, and then as at when I finished my NYC, I ran into a lot of setback, and he called me up and he was like, hey, what are you doing now? I said, sir, I'm working somewhere in Abuja. The next thing he asked me is, how much is your salary? So as at that time, I told him it's 100,000. So he told me that it's not acceptable. 2 days later, I was on a flight to meet him. As at that point, he had nothing in mind he wanted to do, but he had like 500,000 naira. So $1 million he was ready to invest in whatever I was interested in. So I jumped on the flight. I went to meet him in Benin City. About 2-3 weeks, we did a lot of deliberations, and here I am managing an hotel because he saw it on some platform and he leased the hotel and made me the manager. I haven't done that before, but the man had so much trust in me and gave me a lot of money to start that. I did all of that for about a year. It was positioned along the express, and a lot of tourists. I mean, these bike guys that tour Africa on bike or vehicle. So I had a lot of outsiders, foreigners, tourists coming into the hotel, and that chapter of my life was another different ball game. I never planned for it, but just one man believed in me because he noticed my track record while I was a copper. So I wouldn't really say my dad alone. And then, of course, there is also another man, Magnus Eweka. This is a man who schooled in the UK, in Wales, and spent over 25 years in the UK. But for some reasons, when he clocked 60, he wanted to come to Nigeria to start a company. He registered a tech company there in the UK, came to Nigeria based on referral. Someone in Lagos told him about me. He flew into Abuja just to meet with me, did an interview with me. I'm sure I failed because as at that time, I didn't really know much of the technical things he was talking about in his business. But for some reason, he gave me the chance, and here I am today, 2 years later. I've taken some salary from him and also some bonus for hitting some targets. So I really can't say most of what I learned in school got me that job. I really would not deceive you by saying that what I learned in school helped me to perform better at that task. No. All of those things were just because of my dedication and this innovative spirit that I somehow have deep down below.
Or should we call it ambition?
My ambition changed. My ambition changed, yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about all of that. So you're the co-founder of Alugoke Accelerated Innovations.
Yep. Alugoke Accelerated Innovations.
Sorry, beg your pardon.
Yeah.
Who is Alugoke?
Okay, Alugoke is a community-based initiative that started a long time ago, probably before I was born. But it became like an economic edge, an economic advantage.
All right.
More like if you are staying in central area in Abuja, in a single-room apartment, there's a little bit more prestige than somebody staying in 3-bedroom flats at Airport Road. No offense, but it's just how the city of Abuja is. So yeah, Alugoke has happened to be a brand ever before I became mature. A lot of businessmen, a lot of political power, and a lot of economic decision makers happen to have believed in that brand a long time ago. So eventually when I needed to start out in business, I just adopted that phrase.
Alugoke.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking maybe Alugoke was someone, maybe your father's name or someone.
No. It's not a personality, but it's just a concept for steady progress. Yeah, a steady progress. What it means in Yoruba, Goke means like climbing up steadily.
Okay.
Yeah, so Alu just like a group of people or similar like-minded people who come together for an initiative, and year after year they keep evolving. Everybody does that. Do you know Samsung, today, were not originally makers of smartphones. Samsung at some point was manufacturing heavy industries, just like Mitsusashi was manufacturing Mitsubishi. Yeah. So they manufacture engines for maybe airplanes or ships and all of that. But 10 years down the line, maybe one of the sons of the founders at that time was a successor of the company and just decided, hey, we are going this line. Dangote was doing cement at some point, but today he's doing salt and he's doing Maggi, but it's still the same Dangote name, different other CBN listings on the stock exchange and all of that. But the family name Dangote still covers and the brand still has some weight. So that's why I just decided to go in line with my ancestors.
I love that. Now speaking of Dangote, Elon Musk and all these billionaires we have today, they once started like this. They were young innovators, people who thought outside the box, people who wanted to change the course of the world. And that's what we're having now with you, Mr. Bamiyo.
Amen.
So now, the Alugoke Accelerated Innovation. Now, you are a co-founder, meaning you have other people. So you guys came together, was it like a group? Are you guys like a group, or was it you and someone you came together and like, okay, let's start something?
Yeah, actually we are 3 in number for now.
Okay.
And the reason behind that is that Alugoke Nigeria Limited on its own has been registered. There is also Alugoke Engineering, Alugoke Nigeria Limited Engineering, that's for building information technology in Lagos, already running. But here in Abuja, where I happen to be based for now, when I wanted to go register that, because I'm more passionate about space technologies and artificial intelligence since 2019. And I've been doing some of those things on my own. But I approached NITDA. There is this ONDI. OFI is for National and Digital Innovation. Yeah, I know it's a department under NITDA. It's called ONDI, ONDI. The office is somewhere at Wuye. Yeah, so I approached the agency. After listening to my business proposals and everything I've achieved, I was advised, because it's more of a mentorship and a coaching academy for NITDA to help startups in Nigeria. So after going through all of the processes, I was informed that if I need to position myself this space and AI and all of this in order to enjoy some benefits from the federal government, also to enjoy some funding from NIDA, and to be on this startup portfolio, database portfolio, so that I could be connected to other people that have some things to do with NIDA and Nigeria technology landscape as a whole. I was advised to go in another direction. So registering this Alugoke Accelerated Innovations is more like a division of the original Alugoke Nigeria Limited, who has been registered for some other business sectors. But singling out this particular space project management or AI processing, whatever I want to do, in order to qualify for the mentorship and menteeship under NIDA, I had to go back to the drawing board and then position the organization in order for it to be tech enabled, and in order for it to be less than 3 years that it was registered, as at the time I approached Ondai. So from the guiding and counseling they gave me, I needed to re-strategize. So I needed to get partners who are specifically skilled in some areas that I will be offering business services. So the guy who is heading, the man who is heading my technical office, like the chief CTO, is a Kenyan man. Yeah.
Okay.
Nick, Priest Nick, is a specialist in GIS and remote sensing. I'm sure we are familiar with what that means, geographic information science. Yeah, so the mappings, the flood water monitoring and all of that. I have some ideas about that, but I'm too busy looking for money and deals. But the guy is a specialist in that. And there's also someone from Ghana who happens to be our partnership and brand manager. She has done a lot of things in space and she's passionate about that, and she didn't charge me much. So we are a team for Alugoke Accelerated Innovations. Yep.
All right, so Alugoke Accelerated Innovation.
Yeah.
What does it stand for? What do you really do?
We are project management firm.
Okay.
But we leverage space data for our project management. So what that means is that from the beginning, we can't even take a lot of project management. We are not into construction, but there are some new fields that relates to construction. For example, location intelligence, one of my core areas. Okay, let me talk about agriculture because I'm passionate about that. Imagine if you have 10,000 acres of farmland. It's a lot of work for physically going around to inspect your farm. So what people do now, what somebody in that shoe will do right now is to buy a drone, or probably partner with a drone company so they can pilot the drone using the cameras to pick information to know what they need. But that still requires an experienced drone pilot and also a data analyst to bring up all of this information and portray it for data-driven insights. But in our case, we use satellites that are in space already. We all know from our usual Google Maps, the popular OpenStreetMap, where you can just go on Google and search an address, zoom. Even right now, this studio, we can zoom down from the Google camera and see the roof, or if we are standing in the bare space, we could see ourselves depending on the quality of the camera. Yeah, so what we do is to take on space project management at Alugoke Accelerated Innovations for location intelligence, for flood or water body monitoring, and also any kind of GIS, right, environmental modeling or road construction. These days, people have to use space data to plan for a road. There are some roads that was constructed 50 years ago. It's still intact. Meanwhile, some others are constructed few years down the line, but they need maintenance work. You find out people are abusing those contractors. They use substandard materials, blah, blah, blah. It might not be the case. Usually, there needed to be a soil test or to know the kind of soil that is under those lands. Because, for example, a water area might seem dry during the dry season. So if you award a contract and somebody just constructs a road on that, it would not be his fault if during the rainy seasons the roads keep cracking up. So what we do is, by the help of my organizations, my company's partnership with a whole lot of people all over the world, we have access to some space data that can be used to get location intelligence of wherever there needs to be an activity. It could be farm for agriculture, it could be a building. Buildings close to the airport need a different kind of structural integrity test because the aircraft flying above generates sounds and wave shocks, vibrations from up where they are. So over time, you could find out a building close to the airport can just collapse because of consistent flight of airplanes over. But with appropriate space technologies, we could even detect how long that building has to go down, or we could know exactly where is the weakest pillar or beam on the building, so you can just reinforce it. Goes for bridges, dams, and a whole lot of big projects. Most of those project managers use space data to know what to do and what not to do on where and where not to do stuffs. So that's kind of strange in Nigeria because most people do not think about that.
Yeah.
Disaster recovery, now disaster mitigation, most people don't think about that. They just think of rescue people in problem, but they do not think about, let us build something that will not even put people in problem in the first place. So yeah, we are positioned as an innovation management company, but we like to do turnkey projects. That's why we just register as a project management firm. Turnkey project means we get the scope from the customer or the client, then we handle the project and just deliver the deliverables to the customer. So it's not there telling us how to do or how not to do, because oftentimes the clients that we get do not even know exactly what they want.
Yeah.
I'll make an example of my most recent client. She wanted a website. I think she's a fashion designer. Okay. She has some branches scattered all over the city. So she just wanted a website to harness every outlet they have and all of the services that they could offer and all of that. So I sat her down and she was not even having any idea of what she wanted. But based on the trust of the person who referred me to her or her to me, whichever way, she believed that I could offer something that would make a business worthwhile. But while I was standing right in her front, I had no idea what she wanted, but I know she would pay me for whatever I would do. So that makes us, that positions us on a kind of responsibility platform, because we are here talking about all of this technology, AI, space tech, and people are blown away and they don't even know what exactly we are talking about as like at the breaking down level. They have no idea, but they don't have to go through space tech, but eventually space tech has this sustainability concept from the very beginning, because even if you're looking at somebody from 3-story building, you can see the person you are looking at and any danger coming closer. Yeah, so that's the idea of the space cameras. There are cameras in space that we can get data from. Okay. Yeah, so we use this data to plan ahead while studying what has happened in the past.
So like a big project here.
I'm trying not to sound
I'm
technical.
amazed.
I'm trying not to sound technical.
Yeah, okay, so behind the scene, you told me that one of the biggest challenge you've encountered is keeping your mouth shut. Can you explain that to our viewers?
Okay, yeah. For a young man who is inexposed and who has a lot of enthusiasm, a friend of mine, Abubakar, always advises me to think more than I talk.
Oh, well, yeah, that's an interesting angle to it.
Yeah, it goes both ways. But for technology, it's a very fast something that I don't even know what to call it. That's why I say something. Let me make an example. I could be in a public transport, what we call taxi, and I'm receiving a call, and I'm like, "Oh, my friend, have you signed up for Pi?" Yeah. Pi is this cryptocurrency that is currently trending. And I'm talking to a friend in the public transport. Hey bro, download that Pi app. Don't worry. Before next week, you will get $20 and all of that. I'm just talking to my friend on the call in a taxi. Another person who doesn't know me, who is seated at the back seat, could be there downloading that Pi right away.
Oh.
And my friend that I'm talking to, if he doesn't take action on time, could even lose that. So you see the technology world that we are now. You could mean no harm. What you say could step on somebody's toes. You could mean all the best, but end up getting the worst for the person you intended it with. So oftentimes saying a lot of things can make you lose money or can just waste a lot of potentials. Yeah. You could say the right thing to the wrong person. I could be a graphics designer, and I'm just having these great ideas in my head of how I want to make a motion picture. There's this picture that is different from a JPEG, like a GIF. Yeah, it moves like 3 seconds movement. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking and cracking my head with all of the softwares I have, trying to make a motion picture, and I just jump on a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group, and I'm talking about my challenges, and I can't do this, I can't do that, and if I can do this, probably the company will pay me 20,000 for doing this motion picture. Somebody else on the group who's just scrolling by might not really be a graphic designer. He could be a JavaScript designer, and it could be like, wow, I know I could just do these things with some line of code in JavaScript, or I could just do this with just HTML. And if I had talked too much by saying where I got the job, somebody else could just go there, submit that job.
Well, to our amazing viewers, you've heard it from Mr. Bamiyo. Like he said, think more than you talk, right?
Yeah.
So you don't find yourself sharing too many information that might just cost you a lot. So we've talked about a lot of things, but let's talk about what I feel like is the most important. How you manage disappointment. I'm sure you've had people tell you, oh no, you've had people, even friends, even family. There are times we have ideas, right? And we share with the wrong people. And they're like, just go and get a job. Please go and get a job. What are you saying? Go and get, and the idea to them, it seemed like an impossible thing to do. How have you been able to overcome all of that?
I would say I'm still trying to overcome that, because not as if these circumstances you described have stopped. They are also everywhere. But the greatest challenge or setback I can recall right now is from family. Yeah. But it's no hard feelings. I had just finished NYSC. I happened to have gotten some money from my PPA, apart from the money NYC was paying us. So I was being paid salary at my place of primary assignment. So I saved up all of that for the 1 year, and I had that money, and I wanted to do something. So I called my sister. As at that time, she's not in the country. So I was like, okay, let's do this thing, jackpot, and all of those right there. And that was just
the Nigerian dream.
Yeah. So I think that took a lot of energy away from my passion, away from my innovation, and I still regret sometimes that I should have not channeled so much energy on trying to leave the country, because there is so much to do here. Even after you go, you realize that, and a lot of guys that go start up or register a company that is still doing something for Africa. And but I would say my greatest setback was when I tried to leave my business. I wouldn't say leave the country. When I tried to leave my business, because after NYC, I was already doing fine, seeing close to 200,000 naira as a 2020 from my shop. Just a shop. I had people selling stuff there. Sometimes people bring goods.
Okay, so sorry to cut you short. So I understand better. You had all of these ideas and this business idea, but then you still had a business.
No, I had business going on.
Already going on.
Yeah.
With all of these ideas still in place.
Yeah, I'm talking of like 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, but because I was so promising, or let me just use a normal term, because I was so active in trying to succeed in my business, a family member who happens to be older than me and has seen life and has traveled a lot of places believed that I shouldn't waste my energy doing that. Instead, I should go for a master's or probably whatever outside of the country. So coming from somebody who has done that, it was really encouraging. So from that moment I received that call, I remember I sent money, documents, international passport. Aside then, I didn't even have one, but I was just carried away with trying to leave the country. So I channeled a lot of energy into that. Even most of the money that I realized profits as at that time was channeled into trying to escape this matrix that we call Nigeria and all of that. Yeah, but it really turned around to bite me in very, very not nice way. But I had to drop all of my business and come to Abuja to beg and look for a job. Started with 80,000 naira job, then 100,000 naira job, then left the company to another company before I eventually got the US guys that came to me based on referral. But I just kind of believe, even though everything is coming from God, but I kind of believe that if I hadn't lost so much energy and funds as at that time, I might have transitioned better into Abuja, or probably hand over the business there in Zamfara where I did my NYC to someone before coming. But it really crumbled my world before I now had to come and start picking up myself back here in Abuja with a salary job. I mean, I've never done a salary job ever since. I never thought of it, but here I am. I needed cash and I needed to get something going.
So your business was in Zamfara before you moved to Abuja?
Yeah, as a copper, I grew up in Lagos. I was in Lagos. I was
Okay.
posted to Zamfara for my NYSC. I couldn't redeploy even though I tried. So during that 1 year, I had to start up a business because it's in me. I just thought about it.
So what business was that?
A friend of mine, his dad has a filling station, and they no longer use the property. So there was a shop kind of in a popular part of town. There was like a building that was converted into a shop. So we just wrote our names and the business name on it: agricultural processing, produce store. Yeah, agricultural produce store. Yeah, it still has my name on it. So my friend and I would follow his dad's trucks, who goes to Lagos to buy the petrol and diesel. So we'll join them in the trucks. We'll go there. We'll go to my hometown somewhere in Kogi State, get goods from people in Ekiti and nearby. So we'll bring like 20, 30, 40 bags of gari, elubo, whatever agricultural produce, plantain, palm oil I could lay my hands on. So we moved it without the transport fare because my friend's dad has drivers that are going to get their products. So, they just load our products on their truck and then bring it to us in our store. We could sell 100 naira less than the market price. Moreover, it was Southwest product, different from northern product. So if you see the quality of the product, people appreciated that more. Moreover, it was being run by coppers. So it was really I was like a celebrity then.
You obviously were. All right, you talked about Japa. Seems like that's the average Nigerian dream, to run, go to a foreign land, maybe because the system works better there. Yeah. But for those who chose to stay, taking us to the next question, the challenges that comes with being a young, aspiring entrepreneur, right? Let me put it that way. Now, what are the major challenges you've encountered since you decided to do something great for yourself and to change the world at large?
Okay. Yeah.
The challenges, like, it can be financial challenges. But what do you think? Let's equate it. Let's talk about Africa, Nigeria as a whole. What are challenges young entrepreneurs encounter that make some people just, what, is it worth it? Can I do this? Can I really do this?
Okay, yeah. I understand your question, but I still do not understand the reason behind why people think they need to change a physical location to impact the world. Okay. I mean, my Gary shop in 2020 was a big deal to people who are my age. I mean, there are people bigger than me as at that time, but they weren't making waves in that town because they're not the copper that came from Lagos, and all of those advantages was my selling point then. But now, if I'm talking to you in 2020 and I say I want to change the world just by running a garage shop or a factory, no, it's not feasible. True. But what I would say is how I'm better positioned today as a space technologist, because I work with Space Generation Advisory Council. That's more like a division of United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs. Deals with data, remote sensing, and a whole lot of scientific research. I think on my group we're only 2 Nigerians out of like 12. Others are Indians, Singapore, and all of those guys are passionate. Their country makes them love astronomy and space and all of that. Yeah, but for me today, having a project management company, Alugoke Accelerated Innovations, I don't think I need to be anywhere to make my money. I mean, today, positioned as a global entrepreneur, I do not need to be physical. I could be in my village for what is what. My product is online. The internet is what I need to do. Just get my product onto the internet. Okay. So if we take a look at it, I could rent a shop in Abuja central area for ₦1 million. I mean, I rent somewhere in the plaza and I'm doing my digital solutions. We make a lot of things that people pay for. It doesn't have to be the big ideas. We could just make a map. I remember I did a map for digital challenge, something Africa, recent. I didn't check my email. We had to get the data of all of the health centers in Abuja city. Then we made a map, like it's an online map. You go to the map, for example, if I name it Idea TV, www.ideatv.com. When you get to that homepage, it shows you like a map of Nigeria. Okay. So, but you don't see states, you don't see Abuja, Kaduna, you only see hospitals by local government in FCT. So you see Buhari, you see Kuje, you see Amak. So if you click on Amak, for example, you do not see AYA, you do not see Gwarimpa, you don't see all of those places. You only see health centers. So if I'm a stranger or I'm an immigrant, I just got to Nigeria and I just have a heart challenge. Oh no, heart is too serious. Yeah. Just a little medical challenge, and I have nobody. My driver doesn't even speak English. Maybe I'm from Cameroon on a UN mission and all that. I could just go to that website and search for the health center that I need to go to. It will show me the map directions, and I could drive there.
All right, sorry to cut you short. I want to understand better the challenges that comes with starting that business.
Exactly.
That comes with having an idea alone, just being able to dream. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Then putting those dreams into reality. I'm sure when Elon Musk started, it looked like an impossible thing to do. But today we see him doing great things and all. I want to know the major challenge. Would you say money, not having enough money to fund it was a challenge?
No.
I want to know the challenges you've encountered.
Yeah, personally, that's why I'm telling you this story. It sounds like a story because I'm saying now after overcoming this challenge. What I'm saying basically is the positioning.
Okay.
Before I answered your question, I said I wouldn't be approaching a global entrepreneurial landscape with a gari or agricultural producing product. I'm approaching the global landscape now as a digital solution. I can offer solutions that people can access on the internet. Okay. So when I create a map for health centers, or if I create, like we have, in my company just released a map, like a picture, we have a map of the farming seasons in Nigeria from NIMET, Nigeria Meteorological Agency. They released some data, but we collated this data and made it into a map. Okay. So on our website, you can just access this map. It tells you when to plant and what to plant. For example, the rainfall has been delayed by some weeks. So farmers in Niger State need to start planting from May and not April as before. So the major challenge is not even the money. The major challenge is positioning yourself to something that people can run helter-skelter to access.
Now, the reason I ask that because I've spoken to young entrepreneurs, and most time you hear them say, oh, one of the challenge we have in this part of the world is not having enough income to start.
Wow. Well,
so it makes me wonder, okay, so money is like the number one factor you start thinking when you want to go into, when you want to really put your dreams in, make your dreams become reality. So I want to know.
I disagree with that.
All right.
Although I can say money is number 2. But yeah, the positioning is number 1.
Okay.
Yeah. You are a lady, for example, there's some kind of things that will sell to you by default. Even if your husband doesn't like it, your dad doesn't like it. So if I bring those products to where I can meet you, even if I borrow transport fare to get there, I know that women pass through this location and this Brazilian hair in my hand is original. I mean, even if I stand at the door of ShopRite, it's still going to sell.
All right.
So yeah, positioning. I'm only talking as regards global entrepreneurship, not some local. In some local businesses, you have to open a shop. But I, as a global entrepreneur, I would rather not pay shop rent. Okay. I would rather host my services on a website because I know people from all over the world can reach that website simultaneously. 10 people can be checking the website right now while I'm here. 20 people could have made an order on my website. 30 people could be, asking me questions on my LinkedIn. So I could be online doing well, but fiscally I don't even have an office. But that's what 2025 does. 5 years ago, you might need an office for people to come there and talk to you. But in 2025, they could just reach you on a video call. So positioning yourself, in my opinion, when it comes to technology, is more important than finance. I could even go to the bank to borrow money if my idea is sure. Like, I can do this. Borrow me 20 million.
Okay, I love that. I love your I love everything you're saying. I love how confident you are about your business. And speaking of LinkedIn, I hope for our viewers watching this, you have a question, you want to share your insights and your challenges or everything you're experiencing right now, you can send us a message across all our social media platforms at Idea Television. All right. How do you handle failure?
I still don't know how to handle failure, but I would say I have a support system that happens to be family.
Very important.
And after family, should I say religion or should I just say religious people? Yeah. Okay. I'm not the best religious person in my house or among my friends, but I have people who hold me extra accountable. They are religious people. Yeah, those are the kind of people that will feel bad that I didn't come to church on Sunday. Okay. So I have to lie to them that I was in a trip or But they are people who are in high positions of authority in their individual religious establishments, Christian and Muslims, or even traditional worshippers.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
So support system helps me to.
Okay, let me ask you a question outside the box, right? You offer $30 million to sell your idea. Will you take it? Like, dash me your idea and go and do something. Just go and enjoy your money.
Okay,
You
yeah.
take it.
Have I already said this business idea, or the person who is offering me this money doesn't know
No,
what the idea
you've
is?
already like sold yourself to let's say I am Elon Musk. You just sold yourself to me, and I'm like, I see potential, and in my head I'm thinking, let me take this guy's idea and like turn it into something for myself. And I'm like, you know what? Let me pay you 30 million for your idea. Will you take it? Yes or no? I want a straight answer.
No, I won't.
Be honest.
Yeah, the money
So
is
let me put
much.
the cards out there. You're Nigerian. You know the state of the economy. $30 million can change your life forever. You can decide not to work ever again and still be comfortable staying in Nigeria. You can even go for holidays with $30 million. So are you genuinely, are you honestly telling me that you will not take the money?
I wouldn't. Especially, I'm more convinced now because I heard what you just said to the viewers that take $30 million, you don't have to work again. I mean, that's my greatest fear. How will I not work? I have 24 hours every day. I mean, if I have all of the money, I still want to wake up to do something. Like, I wouldn't feel normal if I don't have what is making me.
I'll throw this question out to our viewers. Would you take $30 million and sell your ideas? Let's know.
But I think the person offering the 30 million should be close by, so I would know you are really.
So because you've not seen the money.
But I wouldn't really sell any idea that worth 30 million without being tangible yet. If an investor is willing to pay me $30 million without being tangible, I will turn that down and I'll make it 20% tangible, then increase the stakes to about $200 million. That sounds smart.
All right, you've heard it from Bamiyo that he's going to reject $30 million because he believes in his idea. Now, you talked about harnessing space technology via AI for Earth applications. Now, it takes me to my next question. How has technology, helped, and how has it helped just run me through how technology has made things so easy for people and, easy access. You think technology has made it easy for people to like?
Yep. That's my selling point, right from when I was a kid till university till right now.
Yeah.
If I can tell you something you've never had before, it gives me an edge, it gives me dignity, and it gives me respect. I know a friend, Shola Amuso.
Okay.
He has a startup. He's based in the US now, but he was my senior colleague in school. He drives a Tesla here on the streets of Abuja. But in as much as all of these frenzy about electric cars and all of that, I mean, my Egbon will be Yoruba bros, don't they drive Tesla? I mean, I feel technology is everything I need to do, because I cannot imagine how the bros from Ekiti or Osun should order a Tesla that was manufactured less than 3 years ago, have it delivered to Abuja, and he's driving around and he's interacting with his vehicle. They are discussing the weather. Your car can tell you it's all the AC and all of that. I mean, I feel technology gave him that access. There is no how you work for 35 years with your pension in this country and you can even afford a brand new Mercedes-Benz, man. It won't work. So technology, I've seen it. It has made people millionaires. It has given people flight tickets to go on symposium. Last year, November, at the 8th African Workshop for Space Generation Advisory Council at Nichcomsat. Yeah. I met a guy who was still in his undergraduate who flew in from Ethiopia. People came in from all over the country, the continent, just to attend the workshop. And I did here for Abuja. I see, now this program, come for, it's technology just makes everything worth it to me now. All of the sufferings, all of the family problems that I had by not obeying the usual, go to school, get married, trying to do something. I mean, every time technology gives me a hand, it lifts me up, it elevates me.
I love that. And that's why here at Idea Television, we're all about technology, entrepreneurship, innovation, and education. So it's been an amazing time having you on the show, Mr. Bamiyo.
Thank you.
And I'm sure people watching the show right now has learned a lot and can take home from so many things you've said. But before I let you go, I want you to give, what's the best advice you received as a young entrepreneur, and what can you advise our viewers?
Okay, thank you very much. The best advice I've received so far,
like in your life as an entrepreneur, or do you want to say your life as a human being?
Okay, in my life as a human being, the best advice I've received is, guy, go marry. I can't imagine, just go and marry.
You marry eventually, right?
Yeah, eventually, but I mean, it's just coming from people with personal interest, like my
sure,
mom,
sure,
just
sure.
got married just because
So
she
do you think
wants
that's
it.
the best advice you received in life? Go marry?
Yeah, actually, because it's the only thing other than being selfish. I mean,
Okay.
get a job is because you want your child or your friend to be rich. That's why you want him to get a job, travel, all of that. But the starting a family thing is not just really about the wife thing. It's just about starting a family. Once you do that, you have measured yourself up to society as someone of full value. So they wouldn't expect your wife to be treated badly by you. They wouldn't expect you to have kids without taking care of the responsibilities, the school fees, and all of that. So just that is just the door to something entirely of itself. But elders believe that once you're at that stage, you can handle every other area of your life.
All right, you've heard it, Bamiyo, go and marry. Anyways, as an entrepreneur.
But as an entrepreneur, what I would say I would not forget, and I'll keep hearing it, is that, guy, don't think there's a limitation. In other words, start from the end point. Like, that's how Elon Musk started. Guy, let's go to space. And I also think there's something that's limiting us, but I can't blame you, you can't blame me. We can only blame the government.
True.
Do you realize, sorry to burst our bubbles, both our viewers online, like, do you realize that we are Africans first? We are here in Nigeria. What do you think, if I would ask you, what do you think is the most single uniting force for youths? People between ages of 18 and 40.
Sport.
Great. Regardless of religion, language, and all of that. I mean, we could become friends now just because you support my club.
Sure.
But we're in Nigeria. We are 250 million people. 64 million are youths. The most cut across thing that ties us together is the pidgin English. For what is what? It's vernacular in secondary school. It's illegal to speak it in the House of Rep. It's illegal to speak this language in corporate settings of Nigeria. But I will assure you, the Bini pidgin is different from Hausa pidgin in Kaduna. It's different from somebody from Calabar. But if the Calabar person should speak his own pidgin English, you would understand as a Delta babe. I would understand as a Kogi man. Because the language itself is an innovative language. You can just join one word to the other. Only me one waka come. That's the Bini slang. You don't have to know the exact words from before, but you can understand. That's one huge industry I think Nigeria should focus on. If we don't have to make pidgin English the official language, but we could make it like an extension of our official language. The way in English you have what's that word? Idioms. Yeah, you can't use idioms or proverbs in the normal settings, but it's not unofficial in English. Yeah. So in Nigeria we should kind of, because if I was saying all these things I'm saying in pidgin English, I'm sure I will hit more of my points. But because I'm speaking English, I could speak a lot of English, but the pidgin English is the beginning of the innovation for Africans.
All right, don't worry. When I become president, I'm going to make pidgin the lingua franca of the country.
It would really be great.
Anyways, thank you so much for being on the show with me. I'm sure the viewers have enjoyed this particular episode because for one, I enjoyed talking to Mr. Bamiyo. Any final words before I let you go?
Yeah, my final words, like I said, is just the words that I've been told a lot of times in my entrepreneurship journey. Start from the end point. Whatever you want to, don't think of the problems that you need to overcome to get to that point. So, for example, if I want to wear a brown shirt today on this program, and I don't have one as at yesterday night, and I've already made up my mind I need to wear a brown color shirt to this program, it's either I borrow from a friend or I buy on credit from my supplier, or whatever I need to do to be here with the brown shirt. But if I was starting from the beginning, this is some kind of design thinking. I took a course on it. Okay. If I'm starting from the beginning, I have a program, what should I wear? I now ask my friend A, guy, wear blue. I ask my friend B, wear green. There's a whole lot of energy being dissipated on that. But if I just have something end goal at the back of my mind, I want to make electric vehicles in 2025, I don't know when it came out, but if Elon Musk, if you had asked him 15, 20 years ago, he just had one idea, I want to make electric vehicles. I don't know if there is electric vehicle, there could be no solar for all I care, but guy, this is my goal. I want to go to space and come back, even if nobody else has gone to space. So just have that solid final goal at the back of your mind, then try to walk away. The people you meet along the line, or however God leads, you can now arrive at that destination. But if you don't have the destination in mind at the beginning, every other psychic thinking will be wired against trying this or not trying that. But if you have a goal in mind, the moment something that will not lead to that goal is happening, you can easily cut it off. If I'm going to Abuja and I'm coming from AYA, if I see a turning that goes to Kubwa, that's not my road. Even if I don't know Abuja, but I see this is Kuba, no, I have to continue. So most entrepreneurs and innovators get lost along the way because they don't have that final thing in mind, exactly how God administered it to them.
All right, thank you. And this, like just like we say on the show, this is a show where innovation meets ambition. And just like Mr. Bamiyo has said, instead of thinking problems, why not think solution?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
moment you channel your mind to stop complaining about the problems facing the nation and think of, oh, how can I fix this? How can I do better? How can I change it? Maybe we might just see another billionaire emanating from Nigeria. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Bamiyo, for being on the show with me.
Thank you
It's
very
been a
much.
pleasure. Thank you to our amazing viewers. Hope you enjoyed this particular episode. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television. I am Dearest Tumba. Until I see you next time, enjoy your life. Bye.